Twinning them. Peace and love, everybody. Today we are watching Learn, Discipline, and Manifest Anything and Win. The Brief, episode 18 by 19 Keys. The last video I did by 19 Keys, we really liked it. We really enjoyed it. So we're going to continue to do some videos about him and just hear what he has to say. But without further ado, like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the community Discord and a link in the description. But let's get into the video.
Peace, family. Welcome to The Brief. Today I want to talk to you about two different archetypes, the warrior archetype and the magician. The essence of the warrior archetype is an embodiment of assertiveness, courage, and strength. He is the protector and defender, ready to confront challenges and adversaries head on. The warrior looks at challenges and finds purpose in it. If there's a war, then the warrior is going to move towards that war and prepare himself. The warrior is always looking for a war in life, but not just a bloody war of chaos and violence, a war in the sense of challenge, a way to assert themselves, their force, and show their usefulness and their value to society. The warrior has...
Okay, so I feel like what he's saying is like, if you have a warrior archetype, right, which means just like if you have a warrior type character, right? If you have that type of character, that just means you're looking for challenges along like your path in life. But also, I feel like if you have a warrior archetype, then like when you're asserting yourself, you're also seeing how far you can go. You know what I'm saying? Like you're seeing how much of this shit that you can take. Because if you're a warrior, you're gonna have to be able to take a lot, take on a lot of tasks, responsibilities, and everything. But that's what I'm getting so far, but let's keep going.
It has a certain spirit of calmness, but also readiness. The warrior has the qualities of discipline, decisiveness, and loyalty. Discipline from the disciplined mind, body, and soul, honed through rigorous training and practice. In order to be a strong warrior, he has to constantly take himself through fire. But as you do that, you develop the habits and routine, and you get better and better and better through that practice, developing a disciplined and very strong mind, very regimented and rigid. So if you think about the soldiers in the army and the calmness that a lot of soldiers have coming out of the army, right? It is because they have went through routines every single day that allowed them to become a disciple of that routine, gaining consistency and discipline throughout time. So therefore, a warrior has a way of doing things. A warrior is intelligent in the understanding that everything has its own way. They have a level of respect for the way of things. And when you learn how to live life with the warrior's way, then you develop a philosophy for every process. So therefore you have a thinking and there's a meaning behind everything that you do. A warrior is decisive, having the ability to make swift and decisive, clear decisions, cutting through confusion and hesitation. A warrior has to be prepared, but the training and the practice is what allows the warrior to be prepared and quicker than others. See, the warrior is one who goes over 1,000 scenarios in their head, but also training for the scenarios in case they happen.
Okay. So for you overthinkers that's watching this video, right? Is it necessarily a bad thing that you overthink? Because when you're overthinking, you're thinking of multiple scenarios that could happen. But at the same time, like, I feel like if you're overthinking different situations and you're thinking different scenarios, if you're not practicing or like preparing for those different scenarios, then that's why I feel like you expel unnecessary energy on overthinking, right? And I am an overthinker, right? I try to think of everything possible like that could happen, but sometimes I necessarily don't take the action to prepare myself for every situation that I think about. You know what I mean? And that's something I'm trying to fix. And hopefully watching this video, you can understand that too, but let's keep going.
Therefore, they have the ability to act quicker than the average person. When you go over ideas in your head, then you fill your mind with different expectations. So when they happen, you can react faster because you're not surprised. Because it is as if you already went through it. So the warrior is one who goes through constant scenarios, prepared for those scenarios. So therefore they can be decisive, trusting their intuition based on their own mastery of self and the practice and discipline that they harness, right? Preparing for what's to come. Loyalty. The warrior is fiercely loyal to his cause, his comrades, and his principles. The warrior is mostly always thinking about the principle of the matter. He is loyal to a fault, but testing that loyalty can get you hurt. When you call upon the warrior that is your friend, they will come. When you need them for times in trouble, do not waste the phone call of emergency to a warrior.
And like the vault is free. I gain more value out of the vault than like this freaking $4,800 program I bought.
Right? So he's talking about the loyalty of a warrior. Right? Do you feel like you have those type of loyal warriors in your life that you can call? Right? Those people that are always there, but also ready to go. You know what I mean? Do you have those type of people that when you call them, they own business right away? But at the same time, I feel like some people don't necessarily have those. Some people might not have those type of people in their life. You know what I mean? Like they might not have people that they can call on that are loyal to them. But at that point, you just got to be your own warrior. You got to be like, you got to really like be independent in everything that you do. And it's sad because everything in life, I feel like everything in life and everybody in life needs some help at some time. And if you don't have that help sometimes, then things don't necessarily work out the way they should because you're doing everything by yourself. I just have to throw that out there because I feel like that's the messed up part about life, for real. Like if you don't have anybody with you, then I mean you could take it how you will, but I feel like that's bad. I feel like it's not necessarily your fault, but it's tough.
And when you are that warrior, you are the one that shows up. You have a fierce, deep connection to the people you have loyalty because part of your philosophy is to be loyal to others. It's to find your family and protect your family. So when one is a part of that covenant, that bond that you have with them, and you fellowship with them and you have love and connection to them, you will use your skill sets and your mindset, and then you will be loyal to them. It's always good to have a warrior on your side, but it's even better to have a warrior inside. Now, the magician.
See, that's what I was talking about. Like you can be independent and do whatever you want. And like you may not have the people in your life that you need to help you, but if you are a warrior yourself, then I mean, you're able to do whatever you want to do. Everything might like build slowly. You know what I mean? Like if you have multiple people helping you, things might go a little faster. But if you don't have those people in your life and you're the warrior, you're the loyal one, the principles and all that, then things might go a little slower. But that's okay. That's all right. That's okay, twin.
Magician archetype. The magician symbolizes knowledge, insight, and transformation. He is wise, advisor, and the keeper of secret knowledge, guiding others to deeper understandings of the world. Today, I think I see a lot of fake magicians. Don't have real deep knowledge of self. Pretend to share secret knowledge, right? But this knowledge is not really coveted. And it's not that you have to come up with your own or new knowledge, but this should be knowledge you have actual experience and depth in. But the magician is one who has...
I fell victim to this at one point. Like I was trying to like teach people certain things that I was learning, but I didn't really have an in-depth knowledge of what I was doing, which is why I started doing reactions, so you can actually listen to the same people that I listen to and actually sit here and learn. So like I'm sitting here learning and you're learning with me at the same time. So there's no mistaking what I'm learning because you're learning it too at the same time that I'm learning. That shit. Let's keep going.
As wisdom, intuition, and mastery. The wisdom of the magician seems to come at ease because of all of the years of studying, all of the years of developing their minds and having deep understanding on all of these different subjects. So they're often the one that people come to for advice. They usually have an opinion on an idea or just about everything because they have studied multiple fields of understanding. They seem to have a covenant with certain knowledge that they hold dear to themselves. They don't share everything that they know because they possibly believe that others may not be able to handle it. So it's not that they keep knowledge secret because they don't want to share. They keep it secret because they believe everybody's not ready to hold certain knowledge. Throughout time, there have always been keepers of knowledge, holders of that flame that could enlighten others, but it's dangerous when certain men get knowledge. Today, knowledge...
That was a bar too, that was a fact. Like if you think about it, certain people don't deserve the type of knowledge that some people have because it all depends on who that person is and what their character is like. You know what I mean? In a previous video when we watched KRS-One, he was saying anything that you give a god is good for a god, and anything that you give to a demon is good for that demon. Like anything that you give something positive is going to turn out positive. Anything that you give something negative is going to come out negative. You know what I mean? So if you give somebody knowledge and that person's not the type of person that really deserves that knowledge and they're going to do something wicked with it, they're going to turn that knowledge wicked. But if you give that knowledge to somebody who's doing well and is going to do well by that knowledge, then that knowledge is going to be used for good. You know what I mean? So I completely understand what he's saying. Because some people in the world really, hey, you feel me? So
knowledge is sold to the highest bidder. It is packaged. It is given away. But knowledge in the wrong hand can make a man dangerous, or knowledge in the hands or the head of a man that is not ready for it can be unhealthy for them. The magician, the one who transforms the world, the one who shares the knowledge, the one who's constantly gaining and learning all the time. It is up to them to focus on gaining that wisdom, sharing that wisdom, knowing what to share, but also knowing what to keep to themselves. They have a deep and profound intuition, a heightened sense of intuition, able to perceive truths that are hidden from others. A high level of ability to observe the world, understanding the meaning of things, and by trusting that intuition, it gains them another leverage that they have in society and the world.
Hey, hey, Vonnie, if you are watching this, bro, they are completely describing you in this video. Like the magician really sounds exactly like you. And if nobody knows who Vonnie is, that's my guy, that's my twin, that's my brother, that's for real, everything, like locked in for life. Me and Vonnie, like, I feel like if I was to take on an archetype, I would have to take on the warrior archetype and Vonnie would have to take on the magician archetype, because I'm all about like discipline and like principles and all that different type of stuff, and being like that, you feel me? That, but and then Vonnie is like that type of person that's always doing some research, always trying to gain like knowledge, understanding, wisdom, and all that. I am too, but I'm more on the other side. You know what I'm saying? And bro, you go to Vonnie for everything. Anything that you don't understand, that's who you go to. You know what I'm saying? Like at one point when I first started doing this, I called him my advisor. because he's just so locked in up here. You know what I mean? But Ronnie, if you watching this, shout out to you, bro.
When a magician is not aligned with trusting their instincts and intuition, then they are not properly able to guide others. And they have regrets because they're not able to act off of what they know was to be true.
How old is this girl? This girl. This girl is 45. So yes, this is.
But when they are properly in tune and they can see truth, and you wonder, it's almost as if they can predict future. They know what's going on, but they may ask you to confirm so that they can trust you. Not because they don't trust their intuition, that inclination of feeling that they already know. And the inclination of intuition comes from their vast ability, from all of their knowledge and experience of their subconscious and unconscious mind to filter valid and invalid information to bring the forefront of correct knowledge to their mind in the form of truth and understanding.
So I think he's saying like the magician archetype has that capability to discern truth from falsehood. Like anything that you tell them, they're gonna run it through their head and decide if what you're telling them is the truth or if it's false. You know what I mean? That's why he said that they ask you to repeat, like, or like just help, like want you to describe to them like what's going on. You know what I mean? But that's crazy.
So they may not have to spend all their time anymore processing things, but their mind is working in the background to process the information. So it may seem like magic. Mastery. The magician is skilled in his craft, whether it's science, art, or spiritual practice. Focusing on mastery comes at different levels, starting off in the initiation phase when you're just getting to know, going to an adept, learning more, getting deeper into the secrets, the artistry, the skill and production, becoming an expert in it, having experience and knowledge to where you now have the ability to share with others. And then over time, honing on that skill and practicing it through repetition to become a master. And once...
Is it just me, or does it seem like magician archetypes and warrior archetypes, like they kind of blend together? Like both of them like kind of correspond to each other. Like some things that are in the warrior archetype are also some things that are in the magician archetype. But I feel like the warrior archetype is more of like a person that is like militant, or like somebody who's more disciplined, or things like that. And then the magician is more like spiritual. They're more intellectually driven. But there's also things that when you're intellectually driven and you're a warrior, like some of those things kind of combine. And now watching this video, and I was explaining like how I feel like I'm that warrior archetype, I feel like I'm kind of both. And I feel like that's okay. If you don't, hey.
Once they reach mastery, they're actually able to gain great financial wealth, sometimes becoming great consultants, educators, and even sometimes getting fame off of it because they are exalted higher than the rest of society because they are so far away from the common man's understanding of subjects. The shadow warrior is the sadist, who revels in cruelty and seeks to inflict pain and suffering on others. It is hard to go to war and be good at it and not enjoy it, because we often enjoy the things that we are good at, and we are good because we enjoy them. So the warrior has to balance out the sadist inside.
I gotta rewind that because I don't think I really heard what you said, but I heard what he said. You feel me?
The shadow warrior is the sadist, who revels in cruelty and seeks to inflict pain and suffering on others. It is hard to go to war and be good at it and not enjoy it, because we often enjoy the things that we are good at, and we are good because we enjoy them.
Dog, I ain't even gotta explain that. I don't have to explain that. That was pretty self-explanatory. Like, if you good at, but yeah, I ain't gonna.
So the warrior has to balance out the sadicists inside themselves so that they don't go so far that they lose themselves.
Okay, now I'm gonna explain. Because I'll be feeling like some people be trying to tell people that are like trying to be righteous and trying to be good, but they try to tell people that are like that they're soft. You know what I mean? But those are people that are actually strong, because it takes, hey, if y'all don't know who Golden Child, shout out Golden Child, go listen to him. He said it takes strength to choose peace over violence, which is a fact. Like what 19 Keys is saying, you have to, like, if you're a warrior, you have to enjoy war. You have to enjoy violence, but you have to be able to have a balance in between the two. Like, you have to have that light, you have to be able to balance that light side of you and that dark side of you. You feel me? Like, you have to be able to turn that switch on and off when it's needed. And that's something that has to be practiced, because some people are way on the other side of the scale of violence and some people are on the way other scale of peace. But I feel like truly that you have to be in between those two. You have to be able to be violent at some times because some situations cause it, like, and they call for it, and at sometimes there just needs to be peace. But you got to be able to flip that switch. You feel me? Let's keep going.
The masochist. The other shadow aspect is the masochist who sacrifices himself needlessly and derives a perverse satisfaction from his own suffering. The sadomasochist, finding suffering from others and making themselves suffer as a form of punishment, putting themselves through pain unnecessarily and needlessly, sometimes to prove that they're tough enough to do it, or sometimes because they have shame on their sadist ways, or sadist ways. So then they become a masochist, punishing themselves over and over and over and over and over and over and over, constantly going through a dark road, having the inability to live with themselves for what they believe that they have done. The shadow magician is the manipulator who uses his knowledge and skills for the...
Bro, this took a route, my guy. Like, twin. I feel like, let me know, has anybody else ever felt like what he just said? He was saying that when you felt that you've done something super bad, that you feel that you need punishment and that you continuously punish yourself. That was a bar. And it really hit different too.
For deceit and control. That is the temptation of knowledge, knowing the power that you have over others, seeing the level of intelligence and intellect that others have, knowing that yours is higher, and having the ability to use it and flaunt it over others, to be deceptive and be controlling. That is why throughout all these archetypes, virtue of goodness is so important, and one's righteousness and clean living will course correct them from their own shadows so that they don't go deep into the dark end.
balance.
If you're like me and you like getting paid to give your opinion, then go to beforthright.com. Sign up and Forthright will send you.
Denying innocent one. The other shadow aspect is the denying innocent one who feigns ignorance and avoids responsibility. So, pretending to not know, pretending to be ignorant of their own power, avoiding responsibility because if the magician knows that they're wrong, they're too smart to not know how to correct it and or take responsibility. So they pretend as if they are innocent and they don't know, so that you cannot call them out on their own ignorance. These are very important.
So when you have knowledge, right, and you have understanding, and you know the truth, and you don't speak that truth, and you act like you don't know the truth, does that hurt you more than it hurts the other person that you have to tell the truth? You know what I mean? Because like if you acting ignorant and you acting dumb like you don't know, does it hurt you more knowing that you know what is actually going on and you don't tell it? So you make everybody else suffer for you not telling what you actually know? And now you have to sit back and watch everybody suffer? Damn. Speak truth, man.
Important to think about as you evaluate yourself and you think about where you fit, because this type of knowledge, there's a book on this, The Magician, Warrior, King, Lover. And it speaks about the different archetypes that exist within men that one can learn. This is a book that came out in the 90s that one can learn about themselves. As I'm writing my own book about masculinity, because I want to guide this generation to a higher understanding of self, I want you to be able to audit who you are, see yourself in these things, understand the shadows that come with it, so that you have the ability to overpower that shadow, integrate with it, and be better. When I was younger, I wasn't taught about all these things, and I have various archetypes within myself that exist, but the guiding through the shadows allows me to become more righteous, to become better, to not make the same mistakes as those before me have made. So I'm seeking the help before I need the help, and understanding the side effects that come along with the power. So as men, we must do better. We must think better. We must always seek better. And we must always know that there is a shadow looming over us. And the more integration and the more power we have over it, the less power it has over us. Self-development is the basis of community development. So if you want to contribute to your loved ones better, contribute to the bettering of yourself. Peace. This has been your brief.
Are we low level?
Hey, 19 keys get you there. No cap. In that last part, he was saying that self-development is a key component of community development. All right, so for you people that went to school, right, for business, you got two major classes that you have to take. You got micro business or micro business, and you have macro, right? In this case, micro would be your personal development, and macro would be the community development. Who you are and the things that you want to change always have to start with you changing yourself first. You have to go through that process first for you to be able to change in the micro. You know what I mean? Because you have to be able to teach those things. And if you haven't experienced them for yourself, how are you going to teach them? Facts. But that's it for this reaction video, twin. Like, comment, and subscribe. This is Learn, Discipline, and Manifest Anything and Win, the brief episode 18 by 19 Keys. I love you, twin, and them. Peace and love.